my second graders. We're going to do a drawing together, and I have my paper right here all set up, and I have my block crayons as well. So we're going to do today a drawing of Francis. So let us start together. We're going to start with first our blue block crayon. And I'm going to start on the left side of my page using Papa Bear side. And very lightly, I'm going to bring blue to the left side of the page, coming all the way down and across. And after I bring this blue so lightly, I'm going to then lift it up to be able to show you. So as we've worked in the classroom, second graders, we're working on the background first, just very lightly. And then you will see the form come about after we bring first color to our drawing of Francis. So here I have my blue. It's very light. So can you see here, I started and I came all the way up and down, and I brought it all the way across. You might not be able to see it so well because it is quite light, but it is showing on my page where the blue goes. And then after I use my blue, I'm going to make sure my yellow is very clean. And if it's not, you know how to just take a scrap piece of paper, and I'm just gonna make sure it's really clean, which I have now. And where the rest of the page is white with the block yellow, we're gonna bring in light. And it's going to be, I'm not pressing down very hard with my yellow block, so it's also very light as well, like the blue. So on the left should be the light blue, and now on the right we have light, pale, pale yellow. Like when the sun rises first thing in the morning and there's just light. It hasn't really burst into bold, beautiful colors yet. It's just really pale. So that's what I have right now. So I have blue. I know it's hard to see, and then this is all the yellow right here on the page where my hand is, and this is the light blue. Can you see that going all the way down like that? Okay, so we have our background. Now what we're going to do is take our green block. We're going to use Mama Bear side, and we're going to bring in down below the grass. And something I also need to remind you of, second graders, when we're in school, we have a main lesson book like I have here. See the rings? And so the paper, when you draw, it's very soft. So now that you don't have a main lesson page but just a single sheet of paper, place some other paper, like this is single sheets, just underneath your drawing paper. So when you draw now, it's soft and you don't see marks or lines. That's really important. You can also use newspaper if you don't have paper, but just, the newspaper will make it really soft. So I've brought in grass with my green. See, there's my grass, right? And now we're going to bring where the blue is a cave. And Francis is going to be in our drawing. And where this cave is, we're about to start, is going to be someone, as you heard in the story yesterday, who is so ill. And he has lots of diseases and people don't want to go around him. And so he's in this cave, and we're going to draw the sick person too. And then we're going to have Francis in the middle helping. So let's start with our blue. We're going to use Mama Bear side 2. And I'm going to start all the way at the edge of my page. And my cave is going to be like a C. the shape of a C. So down below, and then it comes up above my cave, and then there's the top of the cave. And we're going to have at the top some grass just to show that. But I'm pressing now down much darker with my blue. And then all the way to the edge. So here is my cave. I'll show you it now. See how I did that? So it's almost straight at the top there. And I'm using Mama Bear side. And then I came down, and then that's the bottom of the cave. So with your blue, we're doing the cave. Good. And I'm going to blend into my cave some purple. We blend these two colors a lot in school, don't we, second graders? The blue and purple. It looks so good together, really showing this strong rock of the cave, because this poor sick person was all alone by themselves. But Francis comes and, remember, keeps them company and shares lots of love from his heart. So I have my cave. I just added some purple to it. And now I'm going to do the person in the cave. And the person is going to be sitting down on his knees. They're going to be all in blue. And he'll be sitting on his knees, and his arms will be out like this, reaching towards St. Francis. Okay, so I'm going to draw the person, and the sick person will be in the cave, so to the left of the page where you did your cave. So I'm going to have the person right here, and kind of his head is bent down a little bit. He's probably so thankful that someone is coming near him to help him. He's probably been alone by himself for a very long time. And I have his legs coming down. He's kneeling. His arms are reaching out towards Francis, who, as I said, Francis will be standing in the middle of the page, and one of his arms will be reached out towards this sick person. So I've done kind of the general shape, let me show you, of the sick person. You see? So the head is bent down a little, the arms are reached out, and then you can see, we've done that before in school, how they're kneeling down on the grass. Okay, so now I'm just going back over the form. I'm strengthening it a little, pressing down a little harder. That's what I mean by strengthening. I'm just pressing down with my crayons a little harder so we can see the shape. And I have his hand reaching out. Good. All right, so there's my person, and I'm also, with my blue, just going to bring some of the blueness of the cave around the sick person. All right. And I'm using Mama Bear side. I'm not using Baby Bear. Even for the head, the hands I did use Baby Bear side, but for the head and the whole rest of the body. So here is the sick person, and then I brought a little more strongly the blue around. Now St. Francis is going to be, as I said, right in the middle here. We're going to do St. Francis next. Now St. Francis, as you heard, wore a very rough wool robe. He became very used to wearing that when he gave up all of his silk robes that were soft and his lavish lifestyle. So now he's in very simple clothes. So we're going to show St. Francis in brown. So you should have a brown crayon. If you don't have brown, you could use black, or you could use a purple too if you don't have brown at home. But we're going to start with St. Francis's head, which I'm going to do in yellow. And he's standing up, so he's going to be, his head is going to be above the sick person, right in the middle. So I have his head in yellow, a round circle. And remember how I've also said, second graders, I'm going to get the general shape of St. Francis first, and then I go back and I press more strongly and I can add more detail. But first I want to get the shape. St. Francis is standing, his arms will be out, his hands will be out like this. You can't, my hands get cut off in the video, but he'll be standing up like this, right? Reaching out. So I've done his head in yellow. You see his head is there, so he's above the beggar. And now I'm going to work with the brown and do his rough robe. So I'm starting under the head with his neck, and then I'm going to have a hand reaching out towards the sick person. Then I'm doing his main part, his chest of his body. For the chest, I use mama bear side. And then I'm going to use, I'm actually going to bring the other arm out. So I have both arms out. And he's wearing this robe. So the robe, the sleeves of the robe kind of hang down a little bit, and I'll show you that in just 1 minute. And he's going to have a belt around this very rough wool robe, and he'll be barefoot because he's given everything up. He does not have any possessions, even shoes. So let me just show you the very basic first, okay? So there's his head. You see how his sleeves are hanging a little bit of the robe, and it goes all the way down. So that's with your brown you're going to do. And now I'm just going back and I'm going to do his belt in the middle to show that. And I'm also going to do his feet with yellow. He's barefoot, no shoes, bare feet. So I have his feet down below in yellow. I'm going to add a few little creases, kind of folds to the robe. These are all detail once you have the general shape. And then with gold, I'm going to have his hands, one on each side, reaching out in gold. I'm also going to bring a little gold into his head too. And gold and brown also blend beautifully, so I'm going to bring a little gold into his brown robe. All about, show his feet down below on the ground. And then, you know, his robe could probably be ragged and ripped, so the bottom doesn't have to go perfectly straight across. It could have some rips in it too. So now you can see I have a belt. I've done his feet, his hands in gold. I've added gold to the brown robe and also to his head. And in those days too, a monk or people like Francis who devoted themselves solely to the church, often they had beards. So I'm going to give Francis a brown beard. And you might have seen in pictures, second graders, the hairstyle where it looks like the men are bald on the top of the head and then there's hair around. It's like a fringe. So St. Francis in many paintings and drawings of him had that style. So I'm going to do that and the beard. Here you can see, that's kind of more of a detail, okay? And then on the other side, let me just show you this. On the other side, so we have the sick man here, St. Francis is in the middle, And then remember also, Francis helped those people who were very hungry and poor. So on this side, we're going to have another poor person, and that person's going to be in blue, will be seated just a little different than the ill person in the cave, but this poor person will have their hands up, and St. Francis will have a bowl of food that he will be giving to this poor person. So with your blue, I'm going to start like I did with the ill person, and they're going to be facing Francis a little below, and they'll, as I said, the hands will be reaching up. I'm going to have this person's legs kind of coming up instead of behind. So I'm going to show you this in just 1 minute. This is very rough first, like it's almost like a sketch. I'm going to have the arms reaching up to Francis for food. They're probably very skinny too because they haven't eaten. Remember, Francis prepared them food and really helped them in any way he could. So this is just a very rough sketch. But see how the legs are up, right? The arm is reaching towards Francis, and they're on the grass. Okay. So I'm gonna now, with my blue, and I realized you probably might have seen that I used 2 different blues. I have 2 different blues in this set. But if that happens to you, that's fine. If you used another color blue, or if you use the same, that's fine as well. So this person's reaching up. I'm going to put just the hands reaching up towards Francis. I'm pressing down as well like I did with the other, just a little more strongly now, creating a little more details with the person. Good. Now I'm going to have that bowl of food in Francis's, in the hand of the poor person. So that's the right side, this side here. I'm going to have a bowl, and I'm going to use my purple, and it's just going to be a very simple bowl he's going to have in his hand. And where's my purple? I couldn't quite tell in this light, but it was a blue I had. Now this is a purple. So I'm doing a bowl, and you can even with your gold bring his hand around that bowl. You see, I just did a very simple purple bowl. And we're going to put some bread. So with brown, we're going to have some bread in there. And some food, very simple food, just like that. Okay. And once you have the bowl and the bread and food, like the other very sick person, I'm going to bring blue around the poor person, just like I did on the other side, shading right around St. Francis. And before I bring the blue all the way out to the edge, I'm going to show you this in a minute. I'm just bringing blue around. I left a little bit of white, so I brought some more blue around. And right here, with my brown, I'm going to create a very big water jar that Francis brought to give water to these people, as well as a basket of more food. So we're going to have that as a little detail. I know second graders, you love details. We're going to have that on the side behind this poor person who's so hungry. And you could choose from the basket of what things you might want to be seen. I'm going to do some vegetables, probably some more bread. If you wanted to do some grapes, that's fine as well. So I have my basket, I'll show you this, and my cauldron of water. So in this side, see, right here, and then in the basket, I'm gonna have some food coming out. I'm gonna use my green crayon and do some leafy vegetables, probably that St. Francis might have had in the garden, maybe carrots. I'm gonna show also some water at the top. And once we've done this detail of the food, we've done the main part of the drawing. And so you know, second graders, this is the time too where I love for you to add things in. So I'm gonna just add the grass, make it a little darker, and really make it look like the two people, the sick person and the hungry person, is really sitting on the grass. So I'm just gonna darken that a little by St. Francis's feet as well. You're gonna hear how he's known as St. Francis. So I've just strengthened the grass down below there with my green. But now is a time we could work together where I'm going to add some detail. One thing I do want you to do is in this area here, I'm gonna bring in a round yellow and gold sun and have the rays of the sun shine on St. Francis, showing all the goodness he's doing to help others. But once you have the sun shining, you may then add some lovely details. I'm gonna start with my sun, and we already have yellow in this area. It's already a light yellow you did at the very beginning of your drawing where we just did color. So now I'm just bringing in my gold to show the sun, the warm, glorious sun. And then its rays are going to be shining on Francis especially and out into the world. Almost like spreading that love that Francis showed for even the sickest person. It's hard to do that, to not be frightened or have that kindness. But he certainly was able to. We only hope we can, in our small way, help with goodness in the world. So I've created my sun here. I've even added a little bit of orange. You see my sun? So there we go. And then this is the time where you may add some details. So second graders, I'm going to stop there. This was really fun that I could do a drawing and show you, and maybe you're doing it with me, or maybe you're watching this first and then you're going to do it. Whatever way you choose, that's fine. I will also send a picture of my finished drawing. So I'm going to add a little details of my own and you can see them as well. All right, second graders, bye. I miss you.